Hello and welcome back to Speed Model. Now, in the previous episode, we made some very drastic changes to the kitchen, and after we were done with that, well, basically everything big had its place. So now that we've got all the big things locked down, it's time to move on to take a look at some of these smaller details. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching episode 5 of Speed Model. Now that we have the shape of the room finally fixed, I turned my attention to the window. I hide the white plate. I couldn't delete it since I needed it there as a source of light, but I also don't want it to be visible in the render. Now I build a window, frame first, then center. I punch the center in to create the typical window shape. I set the materials of the border to glossy and the glass to transparent. So now the white plane is acting a bit weird. I had to tinker with the settings a little to hide it correctly. I go back to tweaking the materials of the window and set the glass to reflect a little. Then I start duplicating the windows to fill up the entire empty space. This creates yet another problem. The light wasn't coming in. Once again, you see some frantic scrambling before I eventually cheated to fix the problem. I moved the window glass behind the white plane. I now try to offset the position of the windows so they can slide past each other. That was when I found that some of the glass wasn't positioned correctly, so I took some time to fix that. Then I moved the windows past each other to create an opening. Fitting everything in now, we have a nice complete room with windows. I wanted to add a bit more light to the room, and also to make the design feel a little bit more modern, so I modeled these little hanging lamps. Just a thin cylinder with a flat out bottom. The body is textured black, while the base an emissive orange. I noticed it wasn't casting much light at all, which is why you can see me experimenting both with the materials and the mesh itself to see the effect of the light. As you can see, it did cast some light, just not a lot. I eventually decided I preferred it subtle and went ahead to make 4 copies of the same light. I scooted around the kitchen a bit and decided the next thing to add was a couple of chairs. I start off with a cuboid which will act as the back of the chair. I divide up the mesh and apply a lattice to it. I use the lattice to deform the mesh to a curved shape. With a new lattice, I flare out the base of the chair. These 2 lattice operations create a nice curved shape, which will form the body of the chair. Using the same cuboid and lattice method, I construct an armrest for the chair. I tweak the back such that it follows the contour of the seat, and I slope the top downwards. From the top view, I curve it so it follows the shape of the chair. It takes a bit of finessing, both with the positioning and the actual mesh itself. You can see me tweak the vertices again, but finally, it's good. I used a mirror modifier to duplicate one for the other side as well. After that, I form up some cylinders for use as chair legs. The rear legs had to be scaled up a bit though. I forgot the seat was curved, so those legs had to go higher. Turning my attention to the seat itself, I used a velvet shader and give it a nice pinkish color. I scale the chair down a little and duplicate it several times over. Now we're almost at a stage where it's a good time to render again. I go ahead and texture the backdrop with an image I found on Flickr. I take a while to set up the nodes so that the scene gets mapped to the outside correctly. You can actually shift the coordinates of the mapping. I use that to make the scenery nicely visible through the windows. I move the camera around just to be sure that things look okay from every angle inside the room. Once satisfied, I go ahead to render. This render wasn't too bad, it was just about 8 minutes, and here is the final result. And there you have it. Just the addition of the windows, the little lights, and the chairs. Well, it makes the place feel a lot more human, a lot more alive, I suppose. So yeah, this actually sets the tone for the next couple of episodes. We're gonna continue adding more little details just to make the place look more alive. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed everything up till this point. That's all there is for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. You're watching 0612 TV. Hello, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, remember that I appreciate every like, favorite, and comment you give me. If you'd like to see more from me in the future, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more updates outside of YouTube, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at 0612TV. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.